Hello, welcome to my channel, Another Bibliophile Reads. My name is Greg, and I am here to do the perfect book tag. This concept was done originally by Criminali on his channel, and it was a one-off video for him describing what he thought the perfect book was. And then MJ, from Reading This Life, turned this into a tag for everyone to do. And I'm going to do this tag. Now, this tag is going to be a little different because it's going to be the Kindle digital edition. Well, here we go. Question number 1. What format is your perfect book? Hardback, paperback, or even e-format? Now, you can look behind me and you can see that I am quite fond of my paper books. And I could do a separate video on what is the best paper book. But I am going to take up this challenge and do the e-book format because I do a lot of e-reading. And I think e-books don't get a lot of the love that they deserve. And what makes a good e-book a good book, because there are a lot of the same issues that you have in paper books or hardcover books can carry over to ebooks. Now, I'm going to say that I am a long-time reader of ebooks. I started in about 2002 with a compact PDA that read the Microsoft Reader format. And then I read that up until 2008 when I switched over to the Kindle. And the Kindle has been my primary e-reader ever since then. I have dabbled in some other e-readers like a Kobo. I bought a basic Kobo when Borders was going out of business, and they had them available for cheap. But for the purposes of this video, I am going to be talking about the Kindle and the Kindle formatting. A lot of it will apply to other ebook devices. Now, let me show you my Kindle. I use a Kindle Paperwhite Signature Edition. As I said, I started in 2008, so I had the original, and I've gone through the Voyager, the Oasis, and now the Paperwhite. So, the second prompt is about how many pages is your perfect book? Well, that really depends on what type of book I am reading. Certain books require more pages, certain books require less pages. Now, just for the sake of example, I'm going to show page lengths in a paperback format because you just can't see it in e-format. Now, this is a men's adventure spy novel. It is 155 pages. And for the type of book this is, that's the perfect length because there's not a whole lot of detail that you need to go into these little books. And they're supposed to be consumed very fast. And this series has over 100 books if you wanted to, and reading, they'd be quick. That's what you want this. A quick, short book. 155 pages is perfect for this type of book. This type of book is very different. This is an historical novel with many characters and many details, and this clocks in at 936 pages. But it is the right page length for this type of book. So, at least on page length, you just cannot pinpoint and say there is a perfect length because it really depends on the book. Prompt number 3. Are you particular as where the pages are located? Now, on my Kindle, you will always have the pages on the bottom hand right down there. And right now there, it is set to location. Location is a unique distinguishing area just for the Kindle. It does not exist in any other formats. But you tap it, and you can have just a regular page number. Now, the page number corresponds to the physical page number on the book. So if you advance to the next page, you may or may not increase your page count because the screen has fewer words than the printed book. You also have an option for how much longer it will take you to finish reading through the chapter. And I find this extremely useful when reading because often at night I'm reading, I finish a chapter and I see the next chapter is 8 minutes and I go, yeah, I can read for another 8 minutes. And then you read those 8 minutes and the next chapter is 5 minutes and you go, yeah, I can read another 5 minutes. You see where that's going. It keeps you reading when the chapters are short. When the chapters are long, like if I picked it up and this said 40 minutes to the next chapter, I probably would not continue reading. So those are, and you also have another option of how long it will take you to finish this book. I don't find that one particularly useful, but some people might, and there you go. And location is useful. I know it's only available to the Kindle, but that is every time you change the page, you will change your location. So you can see your progress in the book. So I find those ways, I use them all, except for the length of the book. They're all very useful. But no, I don't particularly care where they're located because you can't change that on the Kindle. Prompt number 4, favorite font. Do you check to see the font details if available? No. However, on the Kindle, you can actually change the font if you want to change the font. I'm trying to do it this way. Right there, and font. And you have a number of different fonts that you can pick. Sort of like the default on the Kindle Paperwhite is this Bookerly. But let's go to Baskerville. And you can see that the font has changed slightly from the Bookerly. Now I'm going to go change it back to my normal because I have another question that's going to be using this. And for the most part, I don't really care about the fonts. Some of the fonts are more readable to me than others. Some look very amateurish, like they just come right off a typewriter. And actually, that's going to be very important coming up in a few prompts. So the next prompt is, do margins matter? Hell yes, they matter. Now, I want you to take a close look at this. And I have this book out specifically because the publisher did this wrong. And if you are the publisher who did this wrong, go fire the person who did this book. And what's wrong with this is, if you notice on this side, it's ragged. In a normal book, printed, it will be justified text. But this is what is called ragged right, where you just end the end of the line at the right-hand page will not always match. It'll be ragged. The problem is that this is hard-coded for the book. In this particular book, I cannot change the alignment on the right. It has to be ragged right. That is a decision from the publisher, and that publisher is just dead wrong for doing that. What is really good, and I will show you an example here. And now, if you look at this book right here, you can see that the right is justified. And that looks much nicer to the eye when reading than ragged right. But in this book, there is a character who is writing a novel. And if you look here, this is an excerpt from the novel. You will notice that the font is different. It has that very typewritery, harsh font, and it's ragged right. It is what you would see if you were holding the papers that the author was putting this book in. So that is a very interesting and very good distinction between this book, because right away you know you are reading the character's novel. And you go back there, it's a different font, and it's justified. And that is something every Kindle book should do. Now, going back to that ragged right, that is a big debate. Some readers of ebooks love ragged right. They want it in every book, in every circumstance. In the Kindle, over here, you have this option where you have something called alignment. You can press this key and change the alignment, and all of a sudden, this book is ragged right for both the character part of the novel and the character's story and the novel that the character's written. They'll both be ragged right. There's no difference. I like it the original way, where you can choose which one you want. So we'll go back to that one. And there you go. More on margins. Sorry, I'm going off on margins. Maybe a little bit of a pet peeve for me. Now, look at this book right there. The margins are extra wide in this book, and you cannot change them. Up in the same area where you can change the layout, you can actually change the margins, because some people are going to like larger margins and some people are going to like smaller margins. But this publisher messed up on this book, because what you'll go here is this is the very beginning of the book. There's an author photo, and there is a quote that comes in the beginning of books. And traditionally, when you have these type of quotes, they are indented more than the normal text. But whoever did the coding on this book did this to emulate the greater indentation for the quote. But now you go into the text of the book and they forgot to undo it. That is an HTML tag that they forgot to close, and it goes through the entire book. It doesn't necessarily mean the book is unreadable, but it is really annoying to have these extra large margins. So yes, margins matter an awful lot. Quote, prompt number 6. Does your perfect book have any other unique features that makes it perfect? No. Oh, no, I'm sorry. A table of contents for an ebook. If your ebook has chapters, then those chapters should be in a table of contents at the beginning, and the reader can click on those and go straight to a chapter. That is something an ebook should always have. Sometimes they don't. I don't have an example one for now. Then prompt number 7, show us the cover. What do you find your perfect cover about? Now, on ebooks, you do not always have the same cover as on the printed book. A lot of times it is the same. At least on Kindle, it's going to be in black and white, so it's not going to matter that much. But occasionally, ebooks have a very pared down cover with no image at all, just the title and the author. I don't particularly mind on ebooks about the cover, if it's the original cover or it's the pared down cover. And that is the end, except for prompt number 8, which is tag some fellow BookTubers. I'm trying to think who has not done this, because this is a very popular tag right now. I'm going to do Alan, Big Hard Books and Classics, and Jim, Books, Reading, and Stuff. Thank you so much. Keep on reading.